Okay, class, today we're going to use the 4 basic language skills, which are reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So we have several activities we're going to do to work with your fluency and your comprehension when you're reading. We just finished reading Harvesting Hope by Cesar Chavez, story by Kathleen Kroll. She is the one who wrote the book. What do we call that, Emily? What's the person that wrote the book?
An author.
Very good. What about the illustrator? The illustrator is Yumi Morales. What does the illustrator do?
He draws the pictures.
Very good. Okay, so our objective today is to learn and apply the comprehension strategy of making connections. So I'm going to put that up there on the wall so we can see that. Okay. All right. Now, here's what I want you to do. The 3 objectives are that we're making connections are text to self, text to text, and text to world. Okay. And I'm going to tell you what those are. And I'm going to put them up here so you'll know. The text to text to self connection is when we make a connection between the book and the text we just read and something that happens in your own life. Okay, so we make that connection. So I'm going to put that right here. Okay, next is the text to text connection. Okay, now that is the connection between the text that we read and a text that maybe you've read in another book that is similar to this one. So we'll put that one right here. And the next one is the text to world connection. And that is where you make a connection between the text that we read and something that occurred in the world that you know about. Okay, so we're going to put that one right here. Okay? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you this blank double entry journal, and on the one side it says the ideas from the text. So you're going to write down ideas from the text that you can remember, and on the right side you're going to write your reaction or a connection to something that you know personally. Okay, so I'm going to give that to y'all. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. You can look at the posters again and remember to make the connection between the 3 things, okay? And I'm going to model for you, okay? So I'm going to read a passage from the book, and I'm going to show you exactly what I want you to do. As a boy, Cesar Chavez grew up on a farm in Arizona surrounded by family and friends. They would have nightly fiestas filled with singing, dancing, and ghost stories. Under the stars, their family land expanded hundreds of acres and was filled with well-built adobes, animals, vegetable gardens, and all the things a farm would need. Cesar spent his days with his best friend and brother, Richard. When Cesar started school, he was so scared that he raced out of the school and the entire way home. It took 3 days for his mother to talk him into going back to school. She taught him to always try new things and always settle his differences with words and no fist. In 1937, when Cesar was 10, a drought hit the farmland, drying up the crops and making life unlivable. His family lost the land and was forced to flee to California to look for work. He and his family had to become migrants. Moving around California, he worked on farms, whatever fruits or vegetables that were in season. Their first house in California was a shed with a missing door and a dirt floor. Okay, so my first thing that I'm going to use is, the connection I'm going to make is, let's see, when they would have fiestas and parties during the summer with their family in Arizona. Okay, so I'm going to write that on this paper right here. So I'm going to put fiestas with family And my connection is going to be a text to self connection. And that is going to be, it reminds me of when I was young and would go spend, do the holidays with my families in Mississippi. So that's what I'm going to put. Family time on holidays. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Put on the left side of your paper the idea from the text,
Okay.
and on the right side of the paper you do your reaction, okay? And I'm going to put this up here so you will know what to kind of look at.
Okay.
And so, class, I want you to give it a try. And try, in the first column, remember, you're going to work in a group and choose a quote or situation from the book, the text, and on the right side, you're going to put something that you relate to, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a few minutes to complete that, and you can work in a group and talk out loud. That's going to be fine, okay? So you can do that.
Okay. So, one of the things that we can put in is where, like he went to a school where they talk no English. So, let's see. Went to school where only English was spoken. And then what do y'all think, like something?
There's the friends,
Oh, with the friends and the family when they would party,
yeah.
they would do like, okay. Alright, so. And then.
He had to work for his family.
Oh yeah, he had to, he finished school early in 8th grade because, he took care of families. Okay.
And every day's.
What else do you remember from the story we read? What is something that we can remember?
Just a few more minutes, class.
Okay. Oh, when they walked all those miles, and then at the end there was a lot of people waiting for them. Okay. So that.
And they got blisters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so.
Okay. Let's see what we've got, class. All right. So the idea from text, we said Cesar went to an English-only school, that's good, where he was made fun of by his teacher for speaking Spanish. And what was your real-world connection that you made with that? Have you ever been made fun of before?
Yes, I remember when I been made fun of before for speaking Spanish in class. One of the teachers said that we don't need to speak Spanish during class because that wasn't a language allowed.
That's good. That's good. So the next one you have is Cesar's family provided all of their own food through their garden and had their chickens. Emily, what does that remind you of?
This reminds me of people who lived many years ago who had to live off their crops and livestock.
Good. So now, Emily, was that I've got to ask you, Edna. Edna, was your example, was it a text to self, text to world, or text to text?
Oh, definitely a text to self.
Okay. What about you, Emily? Is yours a text to world, text to self? Which one is it?
World.
Good, very good. Okay, so then you also put down that she taught him to always try new things and to settle his differences with words and no fist, and no fighting. So, Lucas, what have you got something that you can think of that you can relate to about not fighting? What'd you put?
My mom and my dad tells me not to fight with my sisters or my Friends.
Very good. And that's also a text to self thing. Very good, class. Okay, so the next thing that will, Edna, how do you think that this double entry journal could help you to better understand the text that you're reading?
Well, I think it helps me because I can make true connections between the story and things that I can relate to.
Right, so this is a good strategy to use for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we also have a poem that we're going to work with on our fluency about Cesar Chavez. And so this is going to work with your fluency, and I'm going to model the poem first, and then we're going to read it together, okay?
Okay.
Now, there's a few words in there that I want to discuss. There's going to be a word called take a stand in there. Now, you may think take a stand might be to stand up, but in this, it means to stand up, but it's to stand up in what you believe in. Remember the migrant workers, they were standing up against and striking against the company because they wouldn't give them the fair shake that everybody else was getting. So that, and then the next word we have is strike. Okay, and so that's where the workers will stop working until the demands are met. They quit working until they agreed to do what they wanted. Okay, so we're going to read this. I'm going to model first, and then we're going to read it together. Cesar gets it done. Cesar was a worker in the fields where crops were grown. He moved from farm to farm because the land was not his own. The owners of the land gave workers very little pay. The workers could not rest and work long hours every day. Cesar told the workers it was time to take a stand. Together they could go on strike. Then who would work the land? The workers stuck together and they got more pay. They won. Sí se puede. Oh, very good. Thanks for helping me with that, Miss Edna. Cesar said, yes, it can be done. Okay, so remember our two words that we learned in there, but we're going to say this together, okay?
Okay.
All right. Cesar was a worker in the fields where crops were grown. He moved from farm to farm because the land was not his own. The owners of the land gave workers very little pay. The workers could not rest and worked long hours every day. Cesar told the workers it was time to take a stand. Together they go on strike. Then who would work the land? The workers stuck together and they got more pay. They won. Sí se puede, Cesar said. Yes, it can be done. Good job. We're going to work on this some more the rest of the week. And the thing about fluency is the more you read something, the better you get at it. So it's like practicing ball. So we're going to practice and get better at it with our fluency, okay?
So we're going to say sí se puede.
We're going to say sí se puede.
Okay.